Today in our 2015 Kia Sorento, we're going to take a look at and show you how to install the Curt T-connector vehicle wiring harness with the 4-pole flat trailer connector. Part number is C56256. Now here's what our wiring is going to look like before we get it installed. Here's our main goal, to have a 4-pole trailer connector to power our lights or cargo carrier, whatever we're going to have that connected to. Our red, yellow, brown wire, this is going to run in behind our driver's side tail light. Our white wire, you can see it's got a ring terminal on it. We're going to ground that off somewhere underneath the vehicle. The green wire runs over behind our passenger side tail light. And then this is our module box. This is going to convert the signal we get from our lights and send it out to our trailer. But this is also going to protect our vehicle's circuitry as well as our trailer. There's the last wire we're going to have coming out of that box is going to be a black wire. That gets tied into our longer bulk pack of black wire. It'll eventually run through our fuse holder, and that'll be connected to our battery powering our box. Now to begin our installation, we're going to remove both the driver's side and passenger side taillight housing. They're held in there with a couple of small Phillips screws. Once we have both of those out, you just kind of want to pry out gently and release the two tabs, one there, one there. Then we can push in on that small black tab on the bottom side and separate our connector. Now we'll set those someplace safe because we're going to be putting those back in. So now we're going to take our wiring, our module box, with the exception of that red, yellow, and brown wire, and we're going to drop these down into the hole between the rear bumper and the body of the vehicle. Once we've got all that tucked in, we're going to plug our factory connector right into the female side of the T1 connector, and then plug the male side into the back of the taillight housing. Give it a good push-pull, make sure it's all connected properly. Then we can slide our taillight back into position. All right, now we'll go underneath the vehicle. Now here on our underside, we're going to have 1, 2, and 3 kind of Phillips head fasteners. You have to kind of loosen the Phillips stud out of the middle lightly until it comes out, and then we can pull those out. And this one should be a Phillips head fastener too. It looks like it's been replaced by a push pin fastener, but you should have 4 that look just the same here. Once we've got those unthreaded far enough, that fastener should just pull out. And now there's 2 push fasteners located on this side that we just want to pull down. See those just pop right in the top part there, here and here. Now let's go over to the passenger side, do the same thing. Now here on the driver's side, if we look up in just above that large black wire, we'll see the wiring that we put down through here. So let's go ahead and get this pulled down, just like that, and start making all of our connections. Now we're going to get our ground wire connected right off to the stud right here. As you can see, there's painted steel all the way around it. So we need to use a file, maybe a screwdriver, or what we've got is just a rotary bit here to kind of bare some steel or kind of get some of that paint off there so we can see a little bit of steel for a good ground connection. Now we'll put our ring terminal up on our stud, and we'll start a nut on there. Now the nut's not going to be included. You will have a self-tapping screw which you could run right into one of the body panels there, but since we had the nut and the stud was already here and available, we decided to use it rather than drilling another hole. Now we'll grab our roll of black wire, strip the end off of it there, add one of the provided butt connectors. I'll crimp it down there. Then we can attach it to the black wire coming out of our box. Then we'll wrap that up with a little tape to keep it nice and moisture resistant. Now let's get our green wire routed. I'm gonna go right back up kind of where our wires came out of. There's a little reflector back there. I'm gonna go right up over the bumper structure. This is gonna allow us to keep our wire up nice and high. Keep it away from our exhaust and everything as we run it over. We reach in, grab that and bring our green wire plug in right up here where we want to work with it. And just like before, the male end goes into the female side. And then we'll plug that into the back of the taillight housing. Now we're ready to put it back in place. Now we'll take a little bit of alcohol. We're going to clean up the back side of our module box. Once that all evaporates really well, peel one of the sides off of our foam tape. We'll adhere it right to the box. And we're going to mount this right on top of this gray ledge right here. So I'm also going to clean that off. Peel the other side of our tape off there. And then just work it up into position. Now I want to mount this far enough forward here so that I can actually see the tape right above these two holes, one here and one here. Then I'm going to use a zip tie and go all the way around that for a little extra security. Just like that. We can trim that excess off so it looks a little nicer. And you can see we've got just a little extra green wire, a little extra red and brown. Let's get those tidied up using one of the provided zip ties. Now we can bring our 4-pole wire kind of over here towards the middle of our hitch. You can wrap it around the tube on the hitch, but it will show from behind the car. Not that that's a big deal. Doesn't matter if somebody knows you got hitch wiring or not, but to keep it a little bit cleaner, if you've got a couple of really about 12-inch zip ties, we can go around that hitch and we'll be able to fasten that wire off right to the back of it and it won't be visible. That's probably going to give us a little bit more than we need. So we can take the opportunity to just kind of take up a little bit of that slack right there. And we'll be able to bring it right over top. Right there where we're going to need it to use it. And just like before, and with any other zip tie that we put on, we're going to trim the excess off to make it look nice. Now we'll take our provided dust cap. Just kind of going to slide that down over our plug and bring it up and around our hitch. That'll kind of keep it held up and out of the way so it's not hanging down behind us while we're going down the road. Now let's replace the covers on each side. We'll do the passenger side first. And we'll do our driver's side. Now what we're going to do here is use that point right there to anchor our black wire off of. Come right up here and anchor it so it's not pulling down on the cover once we put it in place. Also going to do one right here around this brake line bracket. That should give us plenty of room for our cover to sit right up in there in place without any kind of interference. All right, now all we have to do is run our black 12-volt power wire to our battery and make our connection. I've taped the black 12-volt wire to my pool wire here, or my air hose pool wire. Coat hangers work out good. Stiff piece of wire works out good. If you got some air line laying around, or whatever you have that's a little bit rigid so you can kind of push on it, will be helpful. And we're going to route this up to the battery. We want to avoid sources of heat, moving parts, and sharp edges. Just want to keep our wire in kind of a protected area. Now we've got our brake lines that kind of run here alongside of our gas tank. So I'm going to go right over the top of that vent tube. Just like that. Brake lines come in right here. So I'm going to go right over top of that. We're always looking for support to kind of hold our wire up to where it'll never come out and be in danger of hitting the ground. Then right here we've got an opportunity. There's a hole that goes through this brake line bracket that's not used, so we're going to go right through that. That's going to give us a great connection point. And then we can go right around our tube there, just to give a good anchor point, kind of here in the middle of the car. We don't want any slack to go back where we just came from. So just kind of anchor that off there. Then we're going to go in our appearance panel here on the bottom. Try to work it up there so we can get it up front. Now I'm going to take a 10mm socket and back out this bolt, and this bolt. And I should be able to find that pull wire right there and continue forward. There it is. Now we can just put our bolts right back in. Now I'm going to come back over my little plate right here. Now we've got our brake line here running right into another bracket. I'm going to use that to zip tie my wire off. And then we're just going to go right up there into the engine compartment opening. We've got the hood open so you can kind of see a little bit of light down through there, or up through there, I guess. We're just going to push as much up there as we can to give us the best opportunity to find it. All right, let's head on up. Now here at the top, we can just grab our pull wire, pull up any slack we might have, just like that. And it's a good idea once we get it up here to find a good solid location to anchor it off. Now we're going to open our cover here and try to bring our wire up right through the gap in it. Just like that. Make sure we got all the slack out, yeah. Now we want to just get about one extra wrap of our 12-volt wire there. Snip it off at the end. Now we can strip the end off of our black wire. Add another one of our provided butt connectors. Get out our fuse holder here. The ends are pre-stripped on those. You just pull off the plastic or the insulation. Crimp that down on there. Now let's do like we did before and just put a little bit of tape on here to provide a little bit of a vapor barrier. We'll take our other end there, pull it right up into our cover. We're going to be connecting it right onto that stud. So that should be perfect length. Put our ring terminal on the end there. That's also provided. Crimp it down. Now let's pull the nut off that stud. Once we've got that secured, we'll be able to close our cover right on top of it. Now we'll take the provided 10 amp fuse, slide it into our fuse holder. We'll place the cap on it. Bring up that extra wrap of wire we added on there. Zip tie this off just to keep it nice and neat. We'll trim off that excess. That'll hang out right there for us. If we ever need to replace it, all we have to do, pull up, replace our fuse, and then place it back down. Now we're going to test out our wiring and make sure it works. We'll connect our test light to the ground side, to connect the clamp to the ground side. That'll test to make sure we've got a good ground. And then we'll have somebody inside the vehicle turn on the parking lights for us, or the running lights. That should give us a constant signal from the brown wire. All right, good there. Now we'll have them turn on the left blinker. That should give us a flashing signal from the yellow wire. Now the right blinker should give us the same signal from the green wire. And finally, the brakes should give us a constant signal from the yellow and the green. All right, everything's working as it should. We're ready to hook up to the trailer and head down the road. It's going to complete today's installation of the Curt T-connector vehicle wiring harness with the 4-pole flat trailer connector. Part number is C56256. On our 2015 Kia Sorento,